Hi everyone, are you good? So my name's Lorna Campbell. I work at Information Services here in the university. I'm here with two of my colleagues. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yep. Hi, I am Stephanie Charlie Farley. I go by Charlie, and I work in Open Educational Resources.
Hi, I'm Stuart Cromer, and I manage a small interactive content team within Information Services.
We haven't got any prizes. However, we do have something that hopefully all of you will be able to take away either in a physical or a digital form, so everyone's a winner in our session. So hopefully you've been enjoying yourself here at the University of Edinburgh over the last 3 days. And as you can see, Edinburgh is a very ancient and a very grand university, but it's also a very playful university. And I think if any of you were at the Ceilidh last night, you'll have experienced that. And what we're going to do in this short session is look at how we support playful and creative engagement here at the university through open education. So the mission of the University of Edinburgh is to deliver impact for society, to discover, develop and share knowledge. And we firmly believe that one way we can do that is through engaging with open education. And we have a vision for open education and for open education resources here at the university. And this vision is very much the brainchild of Melissa Highton, who you've already met as one of the co-chairs of this conference. And this vision is founded on the history of the Edinburgh settlement, our excellent education and research collections, and traditions of the Scottish Enlightenment and the university's civic mission. We have a policy to support this vision. And this OER policy was approved by our Learning and Teaching Committee in 2016, and that's important because it situates open education and OER very squarely in the domain of teaching and learning. This policy is permissive and informative. It doesn't tell staff what they must do. It encourages them, both staff and students, to use, create and publish open education resources to enhance the quality of the student experience. And it helps colleagues to make informed decisions about creating and using open education resources. But policy is nothing without practice, and in order to support this policy, we have an Open Education Resources Service. And you're actually looking at the entirety of the Open Education Resources Service here. It's myself and Charlie. But we cover a lot of ground in the university. We're a centrally funded service based in Learning and Teaching and Web Services, which is the Directorate of Information Services, but we work right across the university. And we focus very squarely on developing digital skills, and we also provide strategic support for big initiatives. We run a lot of workshops and digital skills events around open education resources and open education. We provide a lot of advice and guidance about copyright and open licensing. And we inform strategic initiatives. So, for example, one of our big strategic initiatives at the moment is developing online masters at scale. And that initiative is very much informed and underpinned by our principles of open education and our OER policy. And we also support information services groups' playful engagement strategy. And I'm going to pass over to my colleague Charlie now, who'll be able to tell you a bit more about that.
So my involvement with this actually began when I have a very playful approach towards the way that I teach and share information. And one of the things that I was doing as part of our open education service was running OER board game jams. So this is where groups are led through openly licensed materials in order to create and license their own game. And it was really quite popular. And so moving on from that, I went and I did some research with a colleague here at the University of Edinburgh who ran focus interview groups on people who had been attending the sessions. And through this, we actually found that there was quite a desire for more information on how to be playful in learning and engagement here at the university, and a real appreciation for services provided from us within information services that use this playful and creative approach. A lot of this comes back to a lot of discussion that is occurring in playful engagement and learning at the moment, which is in the magic circle, which is where we're looking at creating a space of safety where the rules of the real world don't apply directly, and where different norms and codes of practice emerge. So there's space to imagine and create. So where we were talking this morning about creating curious and playful people. And so this is something that we've really been trying to take on board within information services here at the University of Edinburgh. And we're now actually applying this as a strategy in how we are providing our services, our information, and the way that we are engaging both internally amongst ourselves and then broader out across the university community. So we have our playful engagement strategy. This has been put up and is being implemented right across information services. We've got some wonderful little GIFs here that have been created by Stuart and the information team. And this goes across our commitment in a number of areas. So our commitment to reflection, development, and innovation. And this is seen in our services, including our academic blogging services. We have a UCreate makerspace, and we have a large number of student internships as well. Our libraries, museums, galleries, and collections. So we are looking at different playful and engaging ways that we can engage with those, and Stuart will talk about that a little bit more in a moment. Our digital technologies, looking and seeing here, my favorite of these is actually the Catchbox, which is just a throwable microphone that you can throw around and it breaks up that divide. So the technologies don't need to be huge, but just thinking about how we can use them to engage creatively. So this is also seen in our flexible IT spaces, the 23 Things for Digital Knowledge course, which I was talking about just yesterday, and our digital skills services and teams. We're also building communities of practice, and this can include, we have open educational groups and communities, we have Wikipedia editathons and game sessions, and we also have the fabulous Ada Lovelace Day, which is now becoming quite important to us and a regular feature of our calendar. And on that, I'm going to hand over to Stuart to talk a bit more about our practices there.
Thanks, Charlie. Okay, I first got involved in Ada Lovelace Day back in 2015. I don't know how many of you participate in it, but it's quite a common and popular activity in a number of universities around the world. It's really just a celebration of women in STEM and sort of encouraging sort of young professionals and up-and-coming students to explore a variety of different subjects. So I'm just going to showcase some of the activities we do. So typically we start off in the morning with some guest speakers, and we now have quite a large commitment from the student body. So we had talks on sort of women in particular in high-performance computing. We had representation from student societies, sort of mental well-being, and the Women in STEM Society. And we had an intern from the library talk to us about things she'd uncovered in the university's collection to do with gender inequality. And we also had a really sort of cool presentation from Madeline about how she hacked her knitting machine to create portraits of sort of famous women in STEM. We kind of sort of loosen things up a bit and we do some group activities. So some of them are very sort of academic and focused. There's the HPC carpentry course the university runs, which sort of covers supercomputers, what it is, what they can get out of it. But it is a particular focus on women for that particular course. One we done last year that was created by the students themselves was STEM Stories, where they sort of collectively wrote down and discussed their own personal experience and shared it with each other and online. Some of my colleagues ran their DIY film school activity, sort of mobile journalism, and without fail we always managed to do Wikipedia sort of editing. It's just some of the fun activities. We've got cupcake decorating, a lot of sort of colouring in. We have sort of bespoke illustrations we commission. Evening events are sort of networking, sort of career discussions. Sorry, I'm racing through these. Second project we're going to talk about is the colouring book, which is a sort of culmination of all these different focuses within the university. So this sort of started as a series of workshops back in February, and we invited students to come and look at the university's collection. There's sort of 40,000 images online. Most of them are open licensed, and we sort of shortlisted some of them here, and we gave them the sort of digital skills to go through transforming the photographs or paintings into a black and white outline, with the sole focus of that creating a sort of collaborative book for publication later in the year. And these are just some of my particular sort of favourites the students created. And this one on sort of overhead garden designs I think is really unique. What was nice was one of the outputs was we took these publications and used them during exam times. So we had drop-in sessions for the students' wellbeing. And we also ran a series of similar events during Mental Health Awareness Week, and that was for staff and students throughout the university. I'm happy to say we've got some copies of the book with us today, so come and grab us, but we'll leave some out at the poster downstairs as well. All of it's available online. There's a Flickr album and there's PDF downloads for the book and for running the workshop yourself. And there's links to Charlie and Lorna's efforts as well for you to look at. I'm going to wrap up there and open the floor to questions, if that's okay.
The audience? There's no online questions so far.
We have some copies of the colouring book that you can take away, but as Stuart said, you can also download them. And all the outputs that you've seen today are completely open licence, so you can take them away and use them at your own institution, even including like the Ada Lovelace Day posters, the playful engagement strategy, the GIFs that you saw in the presentation, and even the OER policy is open licence. So everything that you've seen here today is there for you to take away and use.
Okay.
I think it's that time of before lunch. People are getting hungry.
Thanks. What caught my attention was that thing you said about sort of creating of real life don't apply. I mean, it's a shame that real life rules aren't those that are in that space. And I'm just wondering, sort of through these practices, do you find that creating these spaces sort of makes it such that those rules become real life rules, the openness and the interaction?
The movement towards playfulness has been happening for quite a number of years within our information services group. So we've had a number of people who have been practicing just independently, like myself and Stuart, just doing playful things in the way that we engage and teach and share our information. Now that we've applied that as actually a strategy, as a way that as a group we're moving forward and embedding, it is actually signalling to a lot of other people all across the organisation that they can be playful, that they can participate in all of these. We provide a number of playful materials throughout our buildings and our spaces for anybody to use and incorporate in their activities, whether they're just having a team meeting and trying to figure something out. We've got craft boxes that they can go in and pull that out. And it is actually leading to more people thinking about, okay, how can we present this information in more informative, engaging and creative ways? And it is actually leading to an uptake in our own practices, but also in people attending a lot of the services that we're providing.
Any other questions? I have a question. How is the uptake of the colleagues and the teachers? Change in culture there?
In terms of open education or playful engagement or both?
Playfulness? Yes. So when I was running the board game jams, I was doing it because I wanted to reach a different audience to those who would normally come along to information sessions about copyright and licensing. And the research that I did actually showed that that's exactly what was happening. The people who were coming to the sessions were coming because they wanted to learn about playfulness and then apply it. And from those sessions, we've actually had people go and create their own games that they've applied and openly licensed and shared and taken out to their own students. We've had some featured at conferences, and there was one that was quite prominently featured at a geoscience conference the other year. And we're seeing a lot of interest in playful engagement across the university. And because, of course, Lorna and I are involved in open education, it's also being tied in with the way that these new resources are being created and shared, which again is encouraging that to be taken up elsewhere. Yeah.
Hi. It's not really a question, it's just a comment. I think it's a brilliant strategy. I love the focus on mental health and well-being as well, which is such a key issue for students and coming more and more into the conversations. I just love that it overlaps. Teaching and learning and well-being aren't necessarily mutually exclusive events. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. If there's no further questions, then I want to thank the speaker.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Edina's work with learning technologists helps to develop skilled, data-literate students who can change our world for the better. Teachers and students can develop and share coding skills with Notable, our Jupyter Notebook service. Our Digimap services deliver high-quality mapping data for all stages of education. Future developments include a text and data mining service, working with satellite data and machine learning, and smart campus technology.